Hello everybody. I would like to welcome you at the page of Shekhawati International Academy Seeker. Today we are going to start a chapter from class 12th, and the book is Flamingo. We are going to start a new chapter that is Lost Spring, Story of a Stolen Childhood. So my dear students, The Lost Spring, written by Anis Jung. Anis Jung was a female writer and was born in 1964, where she was born in Rurikela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. Uh, she received her education in Hyderabad and in the United States of America. Her parents were both writers. That was her uh, plus point, that she had many things in legacy which she get through by her parents. Anis Jung began her career as a writer in India. She has been an editor and columnist for major newspaper in India and abroad, and has authored several books. The following in an excerpt from her books titled Lost Spring, Story of Stolen Childhood. Here she analyzed the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. Actually, she had written, she actually write about the conditions of poor children who are not able to get their life on a right path due to some traditions problem, due to some poverty, due to some not able to fulfill their desires, not able to fill their appetite as well as. So these children, what they had to do, they have to do some labor work at the age of very young, when they are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that, which is their age of playing, which is their age of their studying. That time they started working and knowing, understanding the responsibility of the society, and that they have to fill their own stomach. Not only they have to fill their own stomach, but also their family as well as. So there are many conditions behind them, which are we are going to start. So before starting the whole things, the concept, but let's talk about the title of the story, Lost Spring. My dear students, why this chapter name, which belongs to it? Because there is a reason. Dear students, there are four seasons. First summer, second spring, third is autumn, and fourth is winter. Here, some each seasons relate to the human attributes, human levels, human steps, human kinds. All four leads as a person is take birth, and then he like it is known as baby. Second one, in the second stage he is known as adult. In the third is he becomes mature, and at the fourth is he becomes uh, old. So first season, that is summer season, which is associated to the birth as a baby, and the spring, which is the starting and adult. Here the baby, when it comes into a adult, that time, that is the time where he is developed, where his career, where he gets a number of things. He learned many things in his life, especially about study, about game, about friends, about each and everything. But that is, if he is diverted into doing some work, hard work, labor work, that is a spoil of his whole life. Because in this age, in the adult age, a student started knowing what is the profession, like in which field he is interesting. He wants to be an engineer, he wants to be a doctor, he wants to be a photographer, he wants to be a writer. Different concepts he get through and choose his own field of interest. But in this adult age, he is diverted into, or he is converted into doing some hard work, where he has to think about his own life, his own future, his own surrounding. So sorry. In this chapter, in the first part of the story, that is about a person who is a rag picker, a boy who is a rag picker. What is rag picker? Uh, you have seen in the early morning students that there are many girls, many women, many boys who just came out in our market, in the streets, to pick out the polythene, to pick out the garbage, and they put all these things, they collect these things and put in their a plastic bag which is quite long, and they fill it by putting each and everything which they think that it can be sell out in different parts of the market. So this is their work. So they always look garbage, and what they find in garbage, they find something important, maybe a piece of plastic, it may be a piece of uh, aluminium, or any kind of, even they find any book, so they put it into their bag. If they found it any kind of plastic bottle, they just put it into their bag. So this is their work. So they are known as rag pickers. So here a boy whose name is Sahib Alam, we are going to learn about his life, what type of those children who have been or who are enforced or they are pressurized to work such type of works at the age of education, at the age of enjoyment, at the age of doing something extraordinary in their life. So let's read out the chapter by the explanation. Sometime I find a rupees in the garbage. Why do you do this? I ask Sahib, whom I encounter every morning, scrouching for a gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. So here the writer, she has she has been meeting with a person, a boy whose name is Sahib, and one day she asked, "Why do you do this? What? Why? Why do you do such type of works? Every time I encounter you, I saw you that in each and every morning you scrouching. You scrouching means you search. You have been searching for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. So what is gold used here? In the garbage dumps. Dumps means where the garbage is collected. That place is known as dumps. A stack of garbage. So every time you are searching dumps. So every time you are searching in dumps, the gold. So my dear students, gold is what? In the eyes of those deprived children who have not that pleasure in their life, they are not privileged, they are deprived from all the basis facility which we are getting in our childhood or you are getting in your childhood, but these people are not, these boys, these girls are not having so fortunate in their life. So what is gold for them? The gold is the coin or the better quality of garbage, as much as good quality of garbage or something new, something crucial. If they get success to find out that in that much money, in that much worth, they will get in a form of money while they will sell it out. So what is gold for them? The gold is garbage. Sometime they find 1 rupees coin, 2 rupees coin, 5 rupees coin. That is gold for them, or a precious thing, some good things if they found in the piece of garbage. So they pick it out, and this is their gold for the day. Means that that they can have a good quality of food in the lunchtime or in the dinner time, just as far as the matter is concerned about the gold. And not that gold which I am talking about, that jewelries or in a bracelets in a form of earrings or chain or something like that. Not this type of gold. It's a gold for them. What is gold for them? The gold is for them a 1 rupees coin, 2 rupees coin, 5 rupees coin, or some precious stuff they found in the dumps. Sahib left his home long ago. She explained. She added that she left, like Sahib left his home very past, set amidst the green fields of Dhaka, where he used to live. He actually from Bangladesh, the capital of Bangladesh was Dhaka. So there was their village where they had fields of green grains, vegetables, different type of things. Once they were in Dhaka. His home is not even a distant memory. Actually, it is not quite old memory that they were in the place of Dhaka. But recently they shifted from Dhaka to India as a migrants. And what was the reason they came here? His home is not even a distant memory. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. Actually, they had to face many storms. They had to face many problems, many hurdles where their fields and homes were dragged out, were destroyed. So due to this reason, they had to leave that place and look for food, look for work. They migrate from Dhaka to India. And where they are living in Simapuri in Delhi, the outskirts of Delhi, which is known as Delhi NCR. His mother tells him that's why they left, looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. So now, my dear students, again this word is repeated, so you must know what is gold in the eyes of these people, those who are known as rag pickers. I have nothing else to do, he mutters. That he didn't have any kind of work, he didn't know any type of skills. So what he had to do, he just mutters. Mutters means speak slowly, whisper, looking away, just keep his eyes away. He cannot match his eyes. He could not put his eyes, or that means he could not see straight towards the eyes of writer. Go to school, I say glibly, with a little bit shyness, I said, or very slowly, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. Hollow means rubbish. How rubbish the advice which I gave him about go to school, how it would be rubbish for him. Moving to next paragraph. There is no school in my neighborhood. When it will build one, I'll go. So the reply was, Sahib, he said that there was no actually school in my neighborhood. So when any school will be built, I'll go definitely there. If I start a school, will you come? I asked. The writer asked to Sahib Alam, who frequently come on daily basis at the street of writer, and that time she just asked her, if I will open a school, if I'll build a school, will you come in this school? I ask, half joke, yes. He says, smiling broadly by showing his whole teeth. He was happy to say yes. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? One day, what I saw, that he was coming towards me, running, and what he asked me, your school is ready? Is your school ready? It takes longer to build a school, I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant. What I did, I didn't have any answer in my mind. So I said that to him, that it will take some time to build a school, because constructing a school or making a school is not a cup of tea for everyone. It takes time. So I just make this excuse to front of him. Actually, I don't want to. I was not in a mind of that I should build a school to those students. I just by any mean, I just said it, just in a half joke, just in making a joke. I just want to have a conversation with him. That's why I just said that, if I'll open, will you come? And this boy took it serious and running fastly to her by asking that your school is ready. So what I didn't have any answer in my mind. So I just deliberately said that yes, it will take some time. And this, by saying this, after saying all this stuff, I was so embarrassed. Embarrassed means I feel so guilt. I feel so nervous by saying this, that I just made a such type of promise which is not going to be successful, which is not going to be accomplished. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Bleak means, my dear students, pale. Pale means a kind of a dark, or you could see a smoky future where their world is full of smoke. There is nothing visible. So abound, my dear students, means enough. That type of promises are enough. In that, such type of promises are made each and every time when there is any politician come to ask for their vote. That time he or she generally made their words that now if their party will come in the power, so they will build schools, hospitals, some basic facility for those people who are deprived, those who are migrants who came from different part of the world, to live here, to work here. So, and these type of promises were enough in his black world, in his pale world. After months of knowing him, I asked him his name. After it spent some time, it got a long period of time. We both started knowing each other. And what I asked his name. Sahib A Alam, he announces. He replied that my name is Sahib A Alam. He doesn't know what it means. What is the meaning of his name? If he knew its meaning, Lord of Universe. Sahib A Alam, the meaning of this is Lord of Universe, the God of Universe, the King of Universe of this world. He would have a hard time believing it. And this guy, if I tell him about the meaning of his name, he couldn't believe on it, because as he is every time he is scolded, sometimes he is washed by the bad eyes of the society, that this type of work is very low standard of work, and people generally do not talk to them. They get hesitate while talking to them, and they are known as that they are not even considered as human in the eyes of different peoples in the society. Unaware of what his name represent. He was unaware what is the actual meaning of his name. He roams the street. Roams means wander here and there, going here and there. The streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys. Now, my dear students, barefoot means without slipper, without shoes, a naked foot. Boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. So it's very important. Like now here, these people, these boys are given an attributes of living things, especially birds. You know, birds. They wake up early morning. They start chirping. They start wandering here and there for searching food. And when the noon comes, they just go to their places. Even in the evening time, they go to their places where they started the journey in the morning. So this is their work. So over the month, I have come to recognize each of them, and in just 1 month, I have started knowing each and every boys by their name and by their profession. Why aren't you wearing chappals? I asked them. Slippers. I asked them that why are you not wearing chappals in your feet? You always live bare feet whenever I see you. Then what was the reply? My mother didn't bring them down from the shelf. He answered simply. The Sahib Alam answered was that my mother, she didn't prefer me to give the new slipper. Actually, I have the slippers which were placed at the shelf in my room. His answer was, he answered simply, even if she did it, even if she did, he will throw them off. Adds another who is wearing shoes that do not match. And now the another guy, another boy who is standing there, and what was her reply? What was his reply? His reply was that there was also a girl standing just beside him, beside the Sahib Alam. And what was her role? She just spoke. If his mother had given him what he could do, he would throw them in the streets, just because of there is a reason behind it. I comment on it? I shuffles his feet and say nothing. What I comment on it? He shuffle his feet and say nothing. And he shuffles means took it back, hide his shoes, hide his feet, and he didn't say anything about it. I want shoes, say a third boy who has never owned a pair of all his life. Now here there was third boy who was standing just beside me, and what did he say? He said just I want to have a new shoes, and this guy, this poor fellow, did not have any new pair of shoes in his whole life. Traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot in cities. Here, the meaning of the writer is that she has been wandering the whole country, and those children who are deprived, who are underprivileged, who are poor, who are working as a laborer or a beggar, they actually do not have slippers in their feet. What they do, they walk around in the streets bare feet, naked feet, on village on roads. It is not a lack of money but a tradition to stay barefoot. So now what is the writer is saying? The writer has said something very bluntly. What she had told, that actually it is not a lack of money. They have money. It is not a lack of money but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. And what the another guy had told, that actually we do not have the lack of money, we could afford the slippers, but the problem is that it is against our tradition, it is against our customs to be with such type of things, to be with barefoot, to be with uh, sleepers. It is because if they would have sleepers, then nobody could have pityness, then nobody could have kindness towards them, nobody will show such type of feeling, such type of innocence towards them. They think that if they would have shoes, if they would have sleepers, then nobody would pay attention, a kind attention on them, and nobody would back them, nobody would give them money or give them something to eat. So these things, they the meaning of them. So I wonder if this is only an excuse of to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. Actually this is all kind of an excuse, that they are showing their deep state of poverty, a very what we can say, a deep or low state of poverty. It is just an explain, making an excuse that this is their tradition, this is their way of life, which they have to correlate with it. I remember a story a man from Udupi once told me. So here, I remember a story which she mentioned in this story. What was the story? A guy to whom she met, he is from Udupi. As a young boy, he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. So here she met with a guy who used to go to school which was near the temple, and in this temple his father was working as a priest, a kind of a pandit. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for pairs of shoes. And what he did, the boy who stopped each and every time in front of the statue of God and just praying briefly, means for he stopped just a short period of time in front of the statue and ask for pray, wish a pray in front of gods, just give me a pair of shoes. 30 years later, I visited his town, and the temple, which was now drawn in an air of desolation. Desolation means isolation. Now, now after 30 years, there is no any piece of sign which could say that it was a there was a time where a house was situated, and now everything is ruined just due to the heavy storms. But which was now drawn in an air of desolation in the backyard. In the backyard of the place where lived a new priest. There were red and white plastic chairs. A young boy dressed in a grey uniform, wearing socks and shoes, arrived panting. Panting means taking a person who is out of breath, just taking a long breath, and threw his school bag on a folding bed. Looking at the boy, I remembered the prayers another boy had made to the goddess when he had finally got a pair of shoes. Let me never lose them. The goddess had granted his prayer. Young boys like the son of the priest now wore shoes, but many others, like the rag pickers in my neighborhood, remained shoeless. Now, what is the concept of adding this her personal experience in this story? Actually, what she is saying that she knew that a kind of a boy who was randomly, who was just frequently asked or wished to the goddess to ask for a pair of shoes. And when she visited after 30 years, a long period of time, she found that a new priest had appointed at that old priest place, and he is having his son who was coming back from schools, and he was running fastly, and when he reached at his home, then he was out of breath, he was taking long breath, and he was wearing socks as well as shoes, and she was thinking about that once there was a child who was asking for a prayer, and now the god definitely had heard or granted his prayer and give him his wish and fulfill his wish. And this small child wish was to have a pair of shoes. So now, but there are